Hi, Nick's here. Just wanted to post this video on here, that way we have some more content along with the podcast, that way you don't have as much time to wait between we have some content out. So, thank you for clicking on this video, and please enjoy. Xbox achievements for video games have been implemented since the Xbox 360's release in November of 2005, giving players a way to assign a numerical value to challenges and milestones they have completed. I am someone who has been playing games for decades and enjoy collecting achievements. I decided to start this series to talk about games I have played, give a personal review of the game, brief breakdown of the achievement list, which achievement was the most challenging, and where I would rate the game based on the achievement grind and the game itself. I will also end this series at a later point in time be talking about games that I have not got all the achievements for, still talk and review the game itself, and talk briefly about which achievements were that blockage that prevented me from getting them that I just didn't want to spend all the time to get. I want to start this video series with a game series that means a lot to me, Final Fantasy, and in this video, Final Fantasy 1, specifically the Pixel Remaster, which is the version I've played through and the one that I got all the achievements for whenever I'm talking about achievements, so I'm not playing the Steam version or the PlayStation version or the Switch version. Final Fantasy is a common household name in the JRPG realm, so much so, one of its biggest achievements is being synonymous for JRPG itself, with 16 mainline entries and an absurd number of spin-offs, anywhere from 90 to over 130 based on just my initial Google search and trying to figure out the exact number. The original Final Fantasy came out in 1987 in Japan before coming to the US in 1990. At the time of release, one of the biggest achievements was completing the game itself due to the amount of time it took to level up, earn gil, and the restrictions on where you can save. The Pixel Remaster does away with many of these challenges by allowing you to save anywhere, including in dungeons through quick save, autosaves, and the ability to increase or decrease the rate you gain experience and gil. This is, of course, not referring to the great challenge of the single white mage run in the original Final Fantasy. Now, let's talk about the achievement list. The Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster has 23 achievements, ranging from story achievements to collection achievements. None of the achievements are particularly hard to get. You can reach level 50 with all characters and get the achievements for obtaining 10,000, 50,000, and 100,000 gil easily by using the boost if you want to. Without using boost, I would almost guarantee you'll also get the achievements for killing 100, 300, and 500 monsters, especially since encounters in this game can have up to 9 enemies in a single fight. Other achievements such as obtaining the Titles of Courage from Bahamut and obtaining Excalibur are side quests you can complete by paying attention to conversations and exploring the game thoroughly. Getting the Hidden Game achievement is for playing the 15 puzzle game is a bit trickier. You must be in your sailing ship, hold A, and tap B until the puzzle starts. You do not need to beat the puzzle for the achievement. There is also an achievement for traveling to all 25 map locations, which you should get if you're doing all the content the game has to offer. Now we get to the achievements that can be the most annoying, obtaining 100% completion of the bestiary and obtaining 100% of the treasure chest. These achievements are recurrent in each Final Fantasy game in the Pixel Remaster collection. In Final Fantasy 1, I don't think there are any missable treasure chests or bestiary entries, but each game after has missable chests and enemies. I followed a spoilers-free guide to make sure I did not miss anything or to avoid backtracking. I will have this guide that I use linked below. The rarest achievement in this game, as of the making of this video, is completing 100% of the bestiary entries at 18.4%. Final Fantasy 1 Pixel Remaster as a whole is pretty bare bones when compared to other titles, but it stands out, and it was the game that set Final Fantasy up to be the icon it is today. The story is basic: go save a princess, travel from town to town, complete whatever's wrong with that town's castle, until you go to confront the great evil Chaos by being sent back in time, finding out your characters fought Chaos before as the ancient heroes, but now you have to fix your mistake and kill Chaos so the world will forever know peace. Typical normal story stuff, very basic. The gameplay is drastically different from what you might know as modern Final Fantasy or even Golden Era Final Fantasy. And when I say Golden Era, I'm referring to what many people call as like Final Fantasy 6 up until 10. And some people might even consider 12, but that's a debate for another day. In the original Final Fantasy, though, it has lots of inspirations from tabletop RPGs, such as Dungeons & Dragons. Instead of having magic points, you have spell slots, and at each level that can be used a limited number of times. And one example is like a White Mage, if they have Cure, DM, Blink as their level 1 spell set, and they only have 2 spell slots, they can only cast 2 of those spells before having to rest in an inn or use an item to restore said spell slots. You can also not upcast spells, so you need to buy the next level spells at the different towns to use your other spell slots. At the beginning of the game, you get to choose the class of your 4 characters along with naming them. The 6 available classes are Warrior, Thief, Monk, White Mage, Black Mage, and Red Mage. Warriors are a basic melee class. They get big weapons and hit things really hard. They can wear and use almost anything in the game, and when upgraded, they can cast basic white magic. So instead of only just killing things, it can also kill things and heal your boo-boos a little bit for when your white mage is down. One downside is warriors are expensive to equip, especially if you have more than one in your party. The Thief is another melee class with a focus on hitting the enemy multiple times instead of stealing. When upgraded, these guys have access to more weapons and armor along with some black magic spells. So their big thing is hit it until it dies, instead of hitting it one time for it to die. The Monk class is a personal favorite of mine purely because of how absurd and stupid it is in theory. They have low defense, but they can do more damage than any other classes in the game. Yes, this guy can do more damage than a warrior with Excalibur or a black mage using the top tier spells. Monks are also inexpensive to equip because you don't need to buy weapons for these guys, they just punch it to death. The monk also gains defense and attack bonuses as they level up, and it can hit a point in the game where equipping armor and weapons will actually lower the monk's attack and defense. White mages are the first of the mages that we're going to be talking about. They're the primary healing class. They can't use as much equipment as others, and all their attack spells except Holy only harms undead. But they're great for supporting and healing, and when upgraded, these white mages can use some more weapons, and their top tier spells. The black mage is essentially, they blow things up. Their spells focus on dishing out damage, even their support spells focus on increasing damage. And especially one of the biggest things that the black mages can do is they have spells that can hit all enemies at the same time, which is perfect for clearing out large groups. Like I said before, this game can throw 9 enemies at a time per encounter sometimes. The downside with this class is the black mage has low health and low strength, but it doesn't really matter too much because the black mage's job is to kill as many enemies as he can before he gets attacked. When upgraded, the black mage gets access to some new weapons. The final class is the Red Mage, the most fashionable character with a unique blend of melee and magic. They can use most black and white mage spells, but there are some limitations. They can also equip most weapons and armor like the warrior until later in the game. They are expensive to keep up with because you need to buy both equipment and spells for this class. When upgraded, the Red Mage has some of their magic restrictions removed so they can use some of the better low-level white and black magic spells that they couldn't before. The Red Mage can also have 3 spells per spell level, and they get less total uses of spells, which can be a bit of a balancing act to see if you which all spells you want to use on this character. But they are very versatile, so that is where their strength lies. The game does not force you to choose different classes, as you can have a party of only white mages if you really wanted to. Combat is strictly turn-based. You have as much time as you want to pick out what you want to do, which is great to plan out your next move, but the issue arises where you don't always know who will go first. It could be you, it could be an enemy, either or. For example, if you have a heal lined up, but the enemy kills your character who you're planning to heal, congratulations, you just wasted a turn and an item. Speaking of items, you can buy most consumables from any item shop, and I recommend highly taking the time to get the gil and buy items, especially status effect curatives. I had a situation just gathering footage where I entered a cave, got poisoned, and would take damage every step I took. I did not have any antidotes on me because I figured I was still early game and I wouldn't need them. I decided to go back to town to rest at the inn. I did die in a random encounter, and the autosave put me right back at the cave that I originally got poisoned at. I was still poisoned. I did make it to the end after using a lot of healing spells and healing items, only to find out my characters were still poisoned after resting in the inn. I then had to walk to the item shop, still poisoned, and buy antidotes to cure myself. It was a fun challenge I didn't encounter when I originally played, and I 100%ed whenever I was focused on grinding money in levels early, so I didn't get that experience at first. And I'll probably leave a little bit here, just that way you can hear the panic of having to run to the item shop to buy antidotes. There can be some confusing parts of the game because you are not always told where to go or what to get and what you need unless you talk to an NPC. And some of these NPCs that you have to talk to, they don't always stand out. You just might have to talk to a random person in town to get that next hint. Still, this game is not very long, especially when you turn the boost on to cut down on the money and the experience grinding. Overall, this game was an enjoyable experience, and I place this game as C tier as a game, so pretty average. I had a good time. Will I come back to it? Maybe, maybe not. On the other end, I'd put it at B tier on the achievement grind, because the achievements force you to experience every bit of the game, and nothing felt like it dragged on or overstayed its welcome. If you enjoyed this video, thank you for watching, and please subscribe to be updated with more videos I release. Also, be sure to check out our podcast, the Clocked Out Podcast, where Biggs, Evan, Thomas, and I, Nix, talk about things related to video games, movies, TV shows, and other nerd culture topics or things we enjoy. We post podcast episodes every other Friday, and any other stuff that we post, we're trying to figure out a schedule for when we want to post things, or who wants to edit stuff, or even who wants to make things. But for now, this is the first one of our videos, so we might have other things like clip compilations that we have. Heck, we might even do clip reactions. Just depend on what we got time for and who wants to do what. So thank you for watching, and please enjoy your day. See ya.